Vivek, just let me know once you see my the recording button. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Global Bizapps Weekend 2022, powered by D365 Champs, and it's annual event today. And we hope you are doing well and keeping safe. I'm Venkat Subbarao Poliseti, moderating this session along with Deepesh and Vivek. This session was presented as a part of a keynote by Anshul Gupta, and she will be a just brief introduction about Anshul Gupta. So Anshul Gupta was in cloud solution architect at Microsoft and Dynamics 365 and Power Apps, and she is directly coming joining here from the Microsoft all over from the Bangalore, the southern part of the India, and she has a good exposure about what was happening here around the globe. And before I hand over this session to Anshul Gupta, I would like to mention that if you have any queries, please feel free to drop it in the chat window. We will take them either during the session if possible or during the Q&A time. So before handing over to Anshul Gupta, so Dipesh or Vivek, if you have something right, you can share here.
So just would like to tell thanks a lot, Anshul, for taking up this session. We are very excited to have you here today and not taking any thunder away from you. Over to you, Vivek, if you want to add anything.
No, Dipesh,
No,
I
so
think
over. Okay, over to you, Anshul.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here as well. I'll quickly share my screen. Um, and Venkat, if you could just confirm if it is visible.
Yes, it is.
All right. So, hi. I'm here today bearing some good news and one bad news for you. With 97% of Fortune 500 companies using Power Platform, there's a massive low code momentum that is gaining traction out there. It is helping organizations unlock proven value and as much as 140% of their ROI on their investments. Now, all this and more is possible because of champs like you. You who make this thriving community, and all of us who are connected by our passion to learn, our desire to stand out, as well as fascination for the tech innovations. And I extend heartiest congratulations to each one of you for being part of the most complete cloud developer program with 7.4 million plus Power Platform developers who are creating apps across the world every month and thereby accelerating innovation for your organizations. Feels good, right? It's a good feeling to be part of this community. But read again. You are one of the 7.4 million plus Power Platform developers growing by an hour. Every time someone is completing app in an hour, app in a day, those courses, and mind you, they can learn it at that faster rate because, well, it is that easy, right? So, what is your differentiation? How should you stand out? And where is your next opportunity, right? So, when I was at the juncture of deciding what is next for me, I was actually finding myself working on multiple tasks. And I was so engrossed in my work that I did not have time to pause, think, and course correct for myself. Well, but like many of us, the 2020 did brought some 2020 clarity for me as well. And then I joined Microsoft and I was just starting on Power Platform and I met with all the new shifting trends around remote works, community apps, critical response apps, and whatnot. And it was all possible. We could churn out, app after app, the mission critical apps for the organizations, and we were helping a lot many of them. And since then, I have seen unparalleled shift in the industry for adopting this low code revolution. And I believe you can vouch for that as well. right? So, greetings everyone. I'm Anshul Gupta. I am proud member of this community as well, and humbled to be have been given this opportunity to interact with you today. So, thank you so much, Dynamicity team and D365 champs. In the next few minutes, I will take you through where am I seeing investments from the inside, where are the shifts happening, new features, new investments, and what are customers asking for, and probably where you should focus to stand out from your peers, right? And to help you pause, think, and act, right? So, to all the beginners, students out there in the audience, Microsoft Platform has been a suite of applications which includes Power Apps for the application development, for Power Automate, which is the workflow engine connecting various applications. We have Power BI, which is a business application, business analytics platform, and intelligent bots that we create using Power Virtual Agents. All this is based on data connectors. So we are close to 800 connectors now, infusing AI into your apps using AI Builder, as well as Microsoft Dataverse, the powerful database that ships along with the platform natively, right? Now we have three more members which have been recently added to this family. The first one being Power Pages. So Power Pages has recently gone into GA. It helps create rich interactive data first business applications, web applications for authenticated as well as unauthenticated users. Now it has something for every maker and every Power Platform developer, right? So for low code website makers, you have Maker Studios, which feature packed, a lot of new things have come up to this studio, Templates Hub, Learn Hub for the makers, as well as data modeling and visualization capabilities. So it has designers, drag and drop, you can create it. It does not necessarily need you to know, heavy HTML, CSS, and Liquid. Then we have pro developers, wherein you have inline code editors, VS Code extensions, GitHub and Azure ALM capabilities, as well as we have IT admin experience now, including providers, authentication management, CDN and WAF permissions, and designing the entire security model into one single place, right? So now the IT admins don't have to step out of the studio to plan for their entire authentication and authorization, right? So that's the Power Pages for you. We have more coming up in the subsequent sessions. Just to call back on the UI components that are there in Power Pages, and with the Learn Hub templates, you can quickly churn out rich looking, pretty looking websites for your customers. All right, moving on to the next one, which is the latest edition. Not latest, but yeah, revamped in the new avatar. So basically, this is Power FX. Power FX is the formula language for Power Apps, and it takes care of delegation, record types, type checking, etc. It makes your work very easy, and as we all know, it is similar to what Excel formulas we have. It also supports industry standard YAML expression binding. So that's how it becomes easy. Once again, we have a session coming up on Power FX, so do stay tuned. The next one is the managed environment, and it is the low code governance scenarios that it covers, which it has simplified so that the administrators can get the bird's eye view of their Microsoft Power Platform usage. Right. So as you can see, the administrators can get weekly digest, wherein they can find out what are the latest on their usage insights right within their inboxes. And much more investments are coming on this particular platform, including some new of them are licensing reports, so it is easy to know in which environment what licenses have been already applied. Then we have solution checker capabilities, which would be auto embedded into the managed environments. So what was happening is, as the apps were proliferating in the organization and lot many makers were creating it, and they used to manually export it, then import it. The IT team used to lose the control, right, on what is happening, who is importing what. But now we have, automated pipelines, which would be part of the managed environments. So that becomes the application lifecycle management capabilities that you will have, so that it becomes more intuitive for the makers and gives more control and audit trail to the IT team as well, right? And then my favorite is maker onboarding, wherein whenever I start an app, right, there are brainstorming sessions with the IT team, the data governance team, then UI team, etc., etc. And they all then explain to them that, okay, this is how you should go about creating your app. Now, maker onboarding is the custom onboarding, like a learn path for me, so that right from the start, I am in line with my company policies, or rather the guidelines of creating my app. So that would become much faster and much easier for me. All right. So what you can do, you can actually master those new features which are coming in. So we have been furious, intentional, and purposeful in investing into Power Platform and disrupting industries. Now let's give the meaning to fast in the regime of faster development. Right now, with the uncertain times, there is a shift coming in for doing more with less, which also means that applying technology to amplify what you can do and ultimately what an organization can achieve amidst the today's constraints. All right. Now, on the same lines of doing more with less, we have many features and investment driving this low code, including how we can include natural language to create your Power FX queries. As you can see, search for the account names with accounts having the keyword ABC, and it has automatically created some ideas and your Power FX query for that, right? So it gives you many ideas based on what you're trying to do in your app. Next is, it is now possible for you to describe your workflows, and then the system would automatically, give you some suggestions on the templates or how should you go about your flow. So again, this has been recently announced in the Microsoft Ignite, and you can, start leveraging this as well. And voila, you have your skeleton of Power Automate ready. Just like in Excel, you can match your data types. You can give an example and then Excel catches it and copies it everywhere else. Similarly, in Power Automate as well, you can format data by examples. You can give some text values, and the Power Automate will pick it up further to match it. This one has been around for some time. It converts Visio to your Power Automate flows. So if you have done, a good job in your discovery phase, mapping out the processes, and you understand the nuances of how Visio and Power Automate works together, it will become very easy at the time of implementation of these flows, where your process flows you designed in Visio can be converted into Power Automate, right? And then the Express design, again, recent addition to the family. You can just think about how your app should be. You can, chart it out on a paper, and you can click through it, and it gets converted into an application for you. So we do support Figma design files, PDFs, paper forms, and handwritten sketches. Just, put it on the paper and get started with it, right? So that's the Express designing that is there. Recent announcement on the cards for Power Apps. So basically, these are the micro apps that you are creating into the Power Apps. You can create action buttons, what happens around it, etc. And then these can be embedded right into Microsoft Teams, right? So you are creating micro applications like cards, and they can be shared in the Teams, and people can start interacting with them. So that's cards for Power Apps. Next up is coming is co-authoring, a much awaited feature. And what can happen is that now I will know that who else is working on my application, which screen or which page they are working on. And then I can quickly initiate a chat with them. I can have comment feature, and then the collaboration experience really streamlines using this co-authoring. Finally, the matchmaker or the maker matcher, it's basically the embedded chatbot in your studio would help you understand that what are the relevant resources that you can read upon to solve any particular issue, or it can also tell you that who are the people who have recently worked on this feature in your organization, and you can quickly, chat with them. So just like who plus feature in your teams, we have this one here for you, for makers to quickly identify and, navigate their way into your organization to create these apps. Once again, one of my favorites. Now comes the insights to actions. Now, customers are really asking for advisory on their data strategy, starting from Power BI, Azure Data Lake, and then, maturing to Synapse and much more. Right now, two new features on Power BI. You can share the external data sets to external organizations, right? And then people can find those shared data set in as part of their external data tab, and they can build on top of those as well. Power BI dashboards can now be, directly accessed from OneDrive and SharePoint as well, just in the, infusing productivity scenarios into your flow of work. But yeah, it is very important for the customers these days to have an end-to-end data strategy discussion. So if you are working with Power BI, think from those lines and approach the customers from that point as well. So all that and many more, reusable components, PCF controls, containers, progressive web apps, and wrap functionality, etc., which are helping you make the development experience rapid and fast, right? So what you can do, you really need to master these so that your project timelines are actually reflecting the rapid development, which is not a very common use case we are seeing in the projects, right? So if you know how to actually reduce your project timelines using these features, you will stand out in your peers, right? The next segment is how to expand your horizons, right? Whatever you are doing, think of the next step from there. And the good news is it is not that difficult. You do have multiple options which you can master on Power Platform and still find out a niche path for you in your organization. All right. Now, how and why? So IDC has predicted that as much as 500 million more apps are going to be created in the next 5 years, right? And this number has been moving. The demand has been continuously growing. In every Power Platform presentation, you will hear something like this, right? The remote work, stands somewhere at 42% today. 75% of the workforce is millennials, and new ideas and tech savvy people are coming into the project, and customer expectations are increasing many folds. So whoever partner I'm talking to, they are saying that customers wanted the app like yesterday. So timelines have become very important for them. The gap between demand and supply has been increasing continuously, right? And we do need citizen developers to match that expectation. And what Microsoft believes is the fusion development is the future of how the teams operate to ensure speed, success, and scale of initiatives. So, what is fusion development and what is it for you? Right? So basically, we have to have IT teams, pro developers, and citizen developers working together to meet that expectation or the volume of apps that are required by a particular organization in a repeatable mode, right? So, for example, you can see some of the roles on the screen. CIOs can be the set of fusion sets the fusion vision and aligns the business goals, right? IT pros who set up the managed environments, ALM training, etc., the data governing strategy and everything. Then comes the governance and security leads who would define the security posture for your app development projects. The pro developers would then be creating custom connectors and maybe components, etc., and co-author development of advanced functionality. And finally, the business users, the makers, who would actually be utilizing all this infrastructure, which is the base, and then creating more and more apps on top of that, right? So these are some of the roles that you can, take specialization in. Plus, if you can define a particular project strategy, data governance strategy, or the app pipeline strategy for a customer, that would give you again something an edge over your peers, right? So I happened and I was fortunate to be have a small role to contribute into the famous Schlumberger story. If you have not heard of it, just search online for Power Platform and Schlumberger. And so they had cracked it, right? So they had their global teams, they had their digital studios, which was owned and governed by IT teams. Then they had digital cells, which were, individual smaller unit of teams, which were working on pipelines from various departments. And then we had multiple of such studios having multiple of such digital cells. And then our teams were also absorbed into these digital cells, right? So as I was saying, before starting every app, we used to have complete access and guidance from the data team that what should be the DLP policies, what are the data sources we should use. I had experts from SQL, from Azure, who can quickly come together and use to define our apps. Plus, we had UI and UX teams, right, who used to give us the UI guidance. So they created a repeatable model and small blocks into it, and everything used to come together very fast, right? So these are some of the things that you can specialize, and it is very much required for the customers to have this strategy defined from the beginning for the longer game, right? So that is important. Next, you can become a center of excellence, right? So it has been around again for some time, but continuous new investments are coming in. And COE is what helps you elongate your customer engagements from a 4 months or a 6 months project to rather a couple of years and much more, right? Because with the help of COE, you can define how the pipeline of app request, etc., is set, how the governance infrastructure, data strategy, etc., is set, and then you just keep on, building on top of it. So most of you must be aware of this already: the administration and governance components, nurture components, support and operations perspective as well. Now, continuous investments are coming in to help. Set it up more quickly. And two of them are the ALM accelerator that is part of it now. So what you see on the screen, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, so it has both simple experience as well as advanced maker experience, wherein you can quickly define that how where to commit and where to deploy your solutions in various branches, as well as manage that solutions afterwards, right? So the next one is that you will, while deploying the accelerator, the COE, you will also have an option to connect your usage data with Azure Data Lake, right? And then you can scale it and have a light up in Power BI for much more proactive scenarios for your governance. All right. So again, continuous investments are coming in COE. If you are the COE experts, believe me, you will be consulted into every project, and again, it will give you an edge at the customer side as well, right? So be an expert into COE. The next trend that is coming up is collaborative applications. So we learned about expanding horizon, doing fusion development with Azure teams, with the experts, with COE. The next one is collaborative apps. So collaborative apps are basically Power Apps or Dynamics 365 apps, which leverage Microsoft Teams. So basically, um, you know we are uniquely positioned to offer the productivity scenarios along with the innovation scenarios in the industry today, right? And there has been many asks from the customers to start from their teams, right, and bring in all their process innovations within teams, correct? And that's where you should think from that perspective, that what new use cases you can propose for Power Apps, Dynamics 365 and Teams. From Microsoft, Context IQ, which is like sharing documentations between teams as well as D365 or model driven apps, right? How does that work? Then Viva Sales, which is like, so amongst a lot of things like conversation intelligence and all, you can use your team's chats, with your colleagues, etc., and convert those into tasks from right within teams, right? You can create tasks into Dynamics 365 and all. So these are some of the headwinds, that are indicating to you that a lot of investment is going on collaborative apps. And if you know Teams and if you know Power Apps, this is something you should definitely think upon in terms of your next use cases and your proposals. Then comes the UI and UX. You can become an expert into that, right? So that we can avoid, UI complexities like this, right? So, again, taking an example from Schlumberger, they had dedicated UI UX people, who creates the entire brand repository, and a lot of work into this area as well. You have various tools as well, so that you can create quickly, come up with click throughs in your proposal stage itself. So it becomes very easy because mostly by the time you deliver the app, the UI UX expectations do not match, right, with the customers. And with Canvas app having pixel perfect kind of potential, many customers are looking for this area as well. So this is something you can do. Then comes the industry clouds. So if you are aware of Teams, of Dynamics 365 Power Platform, and also you have more expertise on Azure as well. It's not necessary, but if you have expertise in these areas, go for Microsoft Clouds. Pick one and become an expert into that. So in every industry, Microsoft is taking these clouds, and that is again something getting traction. Especially, I have seen, what I'm getting requests for is FSI and healthcare. So do get started on industry clouds. That would, again, if you master one of them, you can at least expect that you are going and pitching this to three more customers in that very month, right? So the idea is that your direction is as much important as the speed with which you are learning Power Platform, right? So keep that in mind. And with that, we have a very interesting day planned for you. A lot of sessions are coming up. Some of them are on the topics that I have already covered. So do stay tuned, and we are excited to have you today. I would leave you with the wisdom of Shifu, right? So when he says that if you only do what you can do, you will never be more than you are now, right? So think about that. Happy learning, and me signing off. Venkat, over to you.
That was an very much interested session and an important keynote, Anshul. So there are a lot of insights to take away and a lot of things that we learned as in then Power Platform and also the community people. Okay, so just I will request all the people to so Anshul, just a request from our side, from Champ's side, we would like to take an snapshot of the people in the video for making this moment as an memorable. Okay, so just
Sure.
Deepesh, if you would like to add something like you can add it. Meanwhile, the people who are on uh, you can switch on their videos if you can do it right. That would be very much useful. And Anshul, if you see right, our uh, the count it is increasing. Okay, so just they would like to know about the keynote and also the important updates that you can get bring to the table from the Microsoft. So thanks everyone for this. Just say over to you, Dipesh.
Thanks a lot, Anshul, for this wonderful session, taking out time on the weekend. And I've never been not so I have been always excited every year on year. Last 3 4 years, the space of Power Platform and Dynamics, Microsoft just keep wowing us again and again. So it's really interesting time. It's era of low code or no code, and it has been there for quite
Absolutely.
number of years. I believe this will continue for more coming time, right? And really,
Yes.
whatever happened during the during the COVID years has really transformed the way we look at our implementations, or we want to transform the businesses, right? Thanks a lot for all the good insights, and there will be more deep dive sessions coming.
Yeah. Thank you, Dipesh.
Okay, let me switch on the together mode, the beautiful feature that was provided by Microsoft, so that come on, guys, don't be shy. Let us switch on your cameras. I know it is a Saturday and a weekend. Just 1 minute, I am asking you to switch on your cameras. I would like to see your photographs and all. Just your cameras and your beautiful faces. Yes, thank you. Come on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is Saturday morning. I have more energy. It is coming up. Come on, guys. Just we need few more. Yes, we do have the next speakers also lining up from the Microsoft May Al Hazari. So just
I may.
I may. So just a few more, 1 more minute. Just I would say. Come on, guys, don't be shy.
You're putting people under the spot on Saturday morning.
Okay, so just I will take 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. A good smile. Thank you.
Thank you so much, team.
Thank you, Anshul. And May is already here, so can we stop the recording as well, Venkata, or I'm doing it?
Yes,
That's
yes.
fine.
Yeah, I am stopping my recording.